Welcome everyone to imaginativevisions.com. This is Movie Talk. Justin here, back with another review. And this is a film that I have been waiting for as a DC guy who's really enjoying the DCU, from Peacemaker to Creature Commandos to, of course, Superman. Now we have the next movie entry in Supergirl. How does it hold up? You saw the thumbnail, right? Let's talk about it. I'm not going to do a brief synopsis this time. I'm going to just jump right into it because, when I left Supergirl, when I walked out of that theater, I had this feeling, folks, a feeling that I saw a better film hiding inside the film that we got. And that is thanks to the flashbacks. The story follows Kara Zor-El as she's pulled into an intergalactic journey involving revenge, loss, and her connection to crypto. Without getting into spoilers, the film wants to be darker, rougher take on Supergirl, showing us a Kara who is not fully comfortable being the hero people expect her to be. And for me, the best part of the movie was the flashbacks. Those moments felt like the true heart of the film. Every time the story went back to Kara's past, her family, and what shaped her, I felt more connected to her than I did during most of the main adventure. And that's why I kept thinking this should have been a full blown origin movie first. The flashbacks had more emotion, pain, character work, and the rest of the film sometimes struggled to reach that same heights. Just to do a little fantasy writing here, one thing I loved about the flashbacks was the connection and relationship with her and her parents. I would love to see Kara grow up, and then we see the fall of Krypton. I would love a Krypton origin story like that, and you could have done it through the eyes of Supergirl. Half the movie on Krypton, half the movie on Earth, where she meets Clark, learn her powers, and carrying that same emotional weight that she was doing in this particular film, but she's doing it on Earth, and Clark's trying to teach her humanity, be human. Directors and filmmakers now have this trend that's been going on for a long time, which I don't understand. If Hey, let's skip the origin story, let's get to the good stuff where they're already a hero, and we'll just give you clip notes of how they got there. I think the audience deserves sometimes a full-blown origin story to connect with the characters more. This constant let's just jump right into it here, it doesn't feel earned in my perspective. And the fact, story wise, that they went loosely to adapt a comic book that I didn't get the chance to read. I am going to do a spoiler review after I read the comic book, Supergirl, Women of Tomorrow. This film is based loosely on that, where Kara's off world, she's dealing with her struggles and things similar to this film. But I think that particular arc should have been for the next installment of Supergirl. And the main problem that I have with the film is that it also brought in a heavy topic as one of its driving forces behind the story. And yes, I understand why it's there, because it's a key component to our villain Krem. And I understand how it's supposed to make us hate him and his crew. My issue is that it feels more like a plot device than something that's truly something that they wanted to explore. And a lot of films are using this particular topic in a lot of the movies. If you want a hint before I do my spoiler review, check out my review on Furious to understand what that topic is. Or if you saw the Furious movie, you know what that topic is. And it's a subject that's very serious, and it needs more weight, more care, more respect, and more purpose. Here, it's just used to push the plot forward, but it never feels earned to that emotional responsibility that comes with it. And speaking of the villain, let's talk about him, Krem. Holy God. Krem, I'm going to say it with my chest. Quote me, I don't care. Krem has to be the worst DC villain I have seen since Wonder Woman 84. I truly mean that. Krem is such, and I am closing my eyes, holding my anger for this, is such a one note generic villain. Superhero generic villain. He has no backstory. He has nothing that me as an audience member can just sink my teeth into to go, oh man, this guy's badass, or I really hate his guts. It was just like, hey, he does this horrible thing. He kills people. He does this horrible things to people that he takes. And he has this business where he moves people around. That's another hint of what activities and topic that he is, topic that they do. And that's it. His whole characterization is I'm evil. That's it. Nothing. And it's shocking because DC, even if the movie is terrible, usually the villains are on point or at least good enough to say, hey, at least the villain was good. And they went into this whole, and the problem is, I'm trying to do this without spoiling. The problem is when you have a villain that no one can connect with, that's so generic, that's so unforgettable, it hurts the entire story. Once again, should have been an origin film. It hurts the entire story. And he hurts the entire story due to lack of characterization, lack of motive. Like, what was his motivation? Like, besides the sword, or what was it? Like, I'm going to see it again, but what was his true motivation? There's no real characterization with that. And it hurts the film. And there are also moments in here story wise where there was kind of like a tone issue where it wants to be dark and gritty and serious in certain moments. And then it just goes full blown weird and Guardians of the Galaxy. I hate to make the comparison, but there's so much elements and footprints of Guardians of the Galaxy in here that Supergirl doesn't have her own identity in her own movie. And I'm going to get into that when I get to the music part. But let me give some positive about the film because it's not a bad film. It's just not a great one. Supergirl shines in its acting. Millie Alcock is the reason this movie works as much as it does. She is Supergirl for this generation, and I'm putting my whole being in saying that she did an excellent job. She is the Supergirl of the next crop of girls and boys that love this character. I think she did a hell of a job. She brings the attitude, she brings the pain, the vulnerability to Kara. Even when the script doesn't give her enough, she still made that character feel alive. I thought she was great. I want to see more of her. She's in Man of Tomorrow. I can't wait to see what Gunn is able to do with the character. Jason Momoa, as everybody wants to know, how was he? I mean, come on, do we have to ask? He's freaking Lobo. Nails it, nails it, nails it, nails it, nails it. He brings that energy every time he shows up. This is the first time I've ever seen an actor who finally got their dream role, and you can see joy in his performance. He's still Lobo, but if you look in those eyes, you see Jason Momoa's joy. He was so infectious, charismatic. Some might say, yeah, he's just playing Jason Momoa. Who cares? He was born to play Lobo, folks. The supporting cast also does a solid job, especially in scenes where it leans more into the emotional arcs of the particular story, which, like I said, I can't get too much into it. But I thought the acting was absolutely amazing. I thought DC is doing a good job when it comes to casting, and I definitely got to give a shout out to Eve Ridley who played Rufy. She did a great job. She for what she was able to do with the thing. Keep in mind, I never read the graphic novel, but she was able to do with the character, and she was a little bit one note too. But at least she made it work, and we got enough. At least with her, we got some motivation. We understood why she was on a quest for revenge and everything else. Now, I have to talk about the action in the film because now we got to get back into disappointments, folks. Action was disappointing. I am so sorry. For a Supergirl movie, I expected more creativity and more impact, and the choice to keep Kara depowered or limited for so much of the film leaves little to the imagination because we spend so much time waiting for the movie to finally let her go all out as Supergirl that can work in the right story, But here it makes the action feel held back. Most of the action is just her punching, kicking, tackling, flying, saving somebody. And yeah, you usually get that in superhero films when it comes to Superman because they're so powerful. But they try to do the shift like, okay, she's on a red sun planet, she's on a planet that has kryptonite. So this will make her, the fight scenes a little bit more believable instead of her just easily just breaking people's necks. Or maybe you could just bring in villains that can stand toe to toe her. Maybe Lobo should have been the villain of this. I'm just saying. And I will have to say though, the last fight was good, and that was one of the highlights of where we got to finally see her finally really truly be Supergirl. And that there's one sequence in this that was just like, damn, reminded me when Hulk had Loki and was just whipping his ass. She was fierce in that last fight scene. I was just like, okay, we're seeing things. That's what's to come. Now, another big gripe I have with this is the musical score. The musical score was good when we actually let it breathe and when we actually got a chance to hear it. There are moments where the score added so much emotion, gives Kara Journey some needed weight, but the insert needle drops, the insert songs during action scenes needs to stop. If James Gunn or anyone DC ever comes across this video, please, please, please. Not every film needs insert songs. There's nothing wrong with a classical orchestrated composition. It enhances the scenes. Certain songs in here were great for certain fight sequences, but not every fight sequences have to have a song. You can't get distracting. I think some of these songs, if they were replaced with a orchestrated choir or something that's like really epic, I think it would have really got a lot of the audience really into some of the action, even though the action was kind of lackluster. But and even there was like a scene in here that was just kind of like a nod to the Mr. Terrific scene with the slow motion and there's music playing in that too. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm really tired of the insert songs in these superhero films. Let's please go back to orchestrated composition here. It's just like it's distracting. It kind of takes, and some of the songs sometimes don't even fit the tone. But I digress. Direction was okay. Um, thought the movie does have personality. There are scenes that clearly show what we was going for, but I do miss some of that bright color palette that we got from the Superman movie. The tone is different. Obviously, this is supposed to be a more darker film. I wasn't expecting darker even in color palette here, but it was. And some of the tone just doesn't really come together all the way. And at times it wants to be emotional. At other times it wants to be weird, funny, and gritty and cosmic. And some of it works, but not enough feels completely balanced. And that's the problem with the film. It doesn't feel balanced. It doesn't have its own true identity. Like I said, a lot of us are going to watch this movie and just go, okay, so I guess this is DC's Guardians. And that's not something that you want to hear from a different property that's trying to make their own identity. Right now, Supergirl doesn't really have that identity here. And I just felt that that was just really disappointing. And I'm gonna bring up. It's time, folks, to bring up our popcorn meter. With that being said, I don't want to keep you guys too long, so let's get into it. Of course, we have overflowing bucket, full bucket, half bucket, a few kernels, and an empty bucket. Supergirl is getting a half bucket. It is entertaining in parts, but uneven overall. This is more like a matinee weekend movie, or if you can get it like during a $5 Tuesday, I will go see it then. It's unfortunate. It's disappointing. It's not a bad movie. It's a good movie, decent movie. I will say it's an okay movie. It's not, yeah, it's an okay movie. It's an okay movie. The villain, one note generic, really hammers it down, really brings it down. Millie Alcock is great. Eve Riley, Jason Lobo. I mean, I guess that's gonna be a thing now. Jason Momoa, not Jason Lobo. Jason Momoa is excellent as Lobo. I kind of wish if we got the better movie is in the flashbacks. Her interactions with Clark, what happens to Krypton. And that could have been a dark movie because a whole planet being destroyed, your people dying is a dark movie in itself. I think if they were going to adapt the Women of Tomorrow, it should have been when Kara is more fleshed out and a few clip notes from the past is not going to give it that fleshed out of us. Oh, this is what happened to her. Oh, I guess I can feel for her now and see. It's kind of like, hey guys, this is the reason why she's drinking, and that's it. And that it just doesn't work. So this is Justin from imaginativevisions.com. Thank you for watching. And if you like what we do here, hopefully our interest subscription, please hit the like button, subscribe button, and notification bell. You can also head to my second channel, UWL 2K. If you are a WWE fan or WWE 2K fan, we play our own original you our own you original, sorry, I'm tired. Our own original wrestling show using 2K. So definitely check that out. Um, Disappointing film, okay film, serviceable film. Hopefully, Lanterns and Man of Tomorrow and Clayface bring it back home. So this is Justin saying later days. I'll catch you on the next one.